Are you convinced EVs don't make sense? Or maybe you're celebrating your first EV. If so, congrats. You could be a veteran like me and have an entire garage full. But no matter what, you've heard the tire argument. EVs eat tires. Today I'll explain all the truth to that, how to select a tire, why that happens, and if it really costs you more money. But first, spoiler alert, if you have an EV, you've got yourself a sports car. Here are some of the torque ratings for some of the most popular and or cool muscle cars of yesteryear, in order by decade. And if that's not enough, we can go straight to some of your favorites. 68 Charger RT, 480 pound-feet of torque. 93 SVT Cobra, 280 pound-feet of torque. 1966 C2 in the most powerful configuration, 460 pound-feet of torque. 79 Z28, 270 pound-feet of torque. C3 LS5 Big Block, 500 pound-feet of torque. 69 Yenko Nova, 460 pound-feet of torque. Roadrunner 6-pack, 490 pound-feet of torque. C7 Corvette Z06, 650 pound-feet of torque. And the daily driver in my driveway just also happens to have 650 pound-feet of torque. But speaking of Corvettes, do Corvettes go through tires faster than regular cars?
Yes. Chevy Corvettes often go through tires faster than standard passenger cars, with rear tires often needing replacement every 15,000 to 20,000 miles.
In my last video, I addressed tires, and really it was how to select them. I've got the Bridgestone Turanza EL440, which is a common tire for factory equipment. If you notice, there's no EcoFocus here. This is a standard load. XL would be an extra load, which is important. 101H and 480AA. Oh my gosh, what does all that mean? If you notice, this one has a Michelin Total Performance EcoFocus and an extra load. It's also got a higher rating here and a different letter and different numbers, 540AA. The number is a load index and the letter is a speed rating. H-rated tires are for standard driving. V-rated tires have stiffer sidewalls and handle the stress of higher speeds. Soft. See that there? So that's helpful. Another thing that can be helpful is you can search by electric vehicle tuned if you're shopping. So these are a 101 load and an H, that's a standard rating. They do offer the noise reduction technology, which are electric vehicle tuned, but they're standard load. Also, no EcoFocus. How about these? 103 is the weight rating, still got an H for the speed rating, electric vehicle tuned, standard load. But we didn't look at 500AA. What does that mean? 500AA indicates the tire's UTQG, Uniform Tire Quality Grading. It means the tire has a higher tread wear expectancy and provides the best possible traction. So A traction is the second highest possible grade. AA is the best. Temperature measures the tire's heat resistance. It's A, B, or C. A is the best. But 500, a measure of how long the tread lasts. A rating of 100 is the government baseline. A 500 rating means the tire is expected to last 5 times longer than the baseline. The higher this number is, the longer your tire will last. So where exactly on a tire is all this information? Looks like the speed and load ratings are right beside the dimensions. We've got extra load listed right here. Here's the self-seal information, country of manufacture. Here's some material detail and how many layers of each material. And there we have it. Tread wear 540, traction A, temperature A. Are you actively looking for this stuff when you select the tire? And just to put my money where my mouth is, my Model 3 that my wife drives is completely done when it comes to tires. We'll talk more about that later, but I'll replace them in this video. But when you talk about tires, there is a room and there's an elephant inside, and it's weight. I don't think the person talking about tires meant the price of tires is more. It's the weight. Okay, I responded to that. I don't think weight is the problem. If weight is an issue for tires, then 18-wheelers wouldn't exist. I believe people are having fun with their EVs and the instant torque that they offer. If every F-250 diesel shredded its tires, then we could establish weight as a problem. But they don't. So if one can find a tire that's 75% less expensive, and then the tire expires 25% faster, I think the price washes out. Which is why in my last video, I only focused on finding good deals on tires. Let's go out and look at some of mine. This is the Model 3, and if we do the test, these tires are gone. I can see Abraham Lincoln's entire head. These tires have 7,500 miles on them. This is my Blazer SS. Still got plenty of tread wear. These tires have 10,000 miles on them. The Model 3's tread wear rating is 500, AA, A. The Blazers are 540, A. Here's the bolt. Still plenty of tread left. These tires have 10,000 miles on them. They are a 700 AA. But they're not EV tires at all. They're Mastercraft Corsair Quest. Just a regular old everyday. If an 18-wheeler total weight is 80,000 pounds, divide that by 18 wheels, which would be 18 tires, that's 4,444 pounds per tire. My Blazer EV-SS has 4 tires. It weighs 5,900 pounds. Divide that up, it's 1,400 pounds per tire. So weight is not the problem. And we can celebrate. Yay, we learned something. Simple math has won again. But let's go back to that instant torque. This could be the problem.
This is it. Please let me know.
We already established that EVs have high torque, like Corvette-type torque, and that Corvettes use their tires more often, probably because of the torque. But there's also other factors, like engineering, for example. When I went into depth in my last video about the information printed on a tire and what it means, there's one thing that isn't easy to find on a tire. In fact, you won't even find it on the website where you're searching for the tire unless you start to get specific. And that's tread depth. You're supposed to use a penny head down, and if Abraham Lincoln's entire head is visible, it's time to change your tire. That's the tread depth. But there's a thing about tread depth. It makes the tire taller, and the taller the tire, the less traction. So if you have a vehicle that is heavier on average and needs additional engineering so it can function properly, but you still need it to handle well, what are you going to do? If you put some hard rubber truck tires on your EV, you would most certainly increase the life, but you would not have a good experience when it came to road noise, handling, efficiency, etc. Here are the tire wear factors we're going to talk about in order of importance. Let's say you have a job where you have to drive multiple locations, and the longer it takes, the longer your shift is. You're likely going to drive differently in that situation than when you're on vacation and the kids are in the car with you. This is the Model 3. These tires have 7,500 miles on them. This is my Blazer SS. Still got plenty of tread wear. But in that situation where the amount of time you spend on the road means the amount of time on your shift, EVs offer even more time savings. Basically, there's a higher incentive to punch it. They're quicker between lights, so you punch it. Right? My Subaru Solterra, which is wimpy in basically every way when it comes to EVs, has almost as much torque as that Camaro Z28 from 1979. It's also heavier. Physics will win here. You're going to use more rubber, but it's not that simple. I personally drive EVs like they're broken. That means I sold my Model Y after 3 years and 20,000+ miles with decent tires on it. Something I couldn't say about my Honda Clarity, which completely shredded its OEM tires with 19,000 miles on the clock. And we'll get to more of why that is in just a minute. But regardless of the amount of responsibility the Clarity's tires had on that 19,000 miles and then they were dead, my driving situation was not great. I had a 40-mile round-trip commute at the time, and you can take a look at the road I had to drive on every day for that 40 miles. So curves, uneven surfaces, potholes, road debris, just part of the game. So the condition of the road, as well as the weather and the temperature, will definitely affect how your tires last. When it's hot, your tire is stickier. Heat creates more friction. But water does too. You see, water cools off your tires, but the friction's still there, which means they get hot again, then they get cold again, then they get hot again, meaning cracking occurs. So yes, water does reduce the temperature of your tires, but it also causes cracking. It's a solvent. The whole point of water is to break stuff down. The OEM tire on my Clarity was a Michelin Energy Saver All Season, which was the Bolt tire initially. After those died at 19,000 miles, I put a set of Gas Car Mastercrafts on it because I worked at a tire shop and I got them for $400. You see, the Bolt weighs 500 pounds less than the Clarity, which weighs 4,000 pounds. It's heavy, even for a plug-in hybrid. And I doubt they lasted a long time on the Bolts either, but that contributed to the death of the tires so early. The Mastercraft tires I put on probably won't hit the mileage warranty, but they're designed to last a whole lot longer, while sacrificing wet weather performance. It's all trade-offs, and that's what tire design is all about. I didn't mention tread depth in my previous video, because it's such a complicated topic. But if you replace a tire at 230 seconds of tread left, and new, it comes in as 11 or 12 30 seconds, but your EV tire only has 10 30 seconds. Well, the EV tire's not going to last as long, right? That's what one would think. But a tire has tons of different factors, and tread depth is just one of them. The shape of the tire, the contact patch, the stiffness of the sidewall, the belt construction, the sipes, the channel width, Is there a pattern inside those channels to reduce noise? Everything is uniquely engineered on EV tires. 20% more weight? Maybe that means a stiffer sidewall or an increased contact patch. In fact, both of those are almost always true with an EV tire versus a gas car. Put that EV tire on a gas car, you're not going to like how it rides. It'll ride way too stiff because there's 1,000 pounds of car missing for what that tire was meant to do. The sipes, or the little cuts in a tire, can't be the same distance between each other in an EV, because if they're all the same, then they all make the exact same tiny little noise every time they touch and return from the pavement, meaning they generate one solid sound. Yes, the millimeters in the cuts have to be different between each one, so they make different noises. No engine, all the other noises are louder. Also, big shocker here, less tread depth actually means less noise, because when a tire goes to and from the contact with the pavement, there's more air in a higher tread depth tire, meaning there's more sound. Yes, lower tread depth means less noise. And if all else fails, just throw some foam on the inside. They do that too. All to reduce noise. And I haven't even gotten started on the tire compound. Remember at the top of the video when I said,
You got yourself a sports car.
the reason I put that at the top of the video is because the amount of torque means everything. Because torque has a quadratic impact on wear. And we should probably dive deeper into that. As we've discussed, tires may look easy, but they're the most important thing on a car and are extremely complex. Here's some relationships. Torque is attempted force. The tire would enforce the force limit. Slip emerges from the mismatch between the attempted force and the force limit, and the result is wear. When you combine low speed and instant torque, this is when all of the exponential tire wear occurs. Tire wear with relationship to torque is not some kind of exponential change. Essentially, if you press the accelerator hard at low speed or zero speed, you will accelerate, but your tire will suffer exponentially as a result. And a similar situation occurs with sudden hard throttle application at speed as well. When there's slip, there's wear. But if you refrain from using this torque as instantly as an EV allows you to, most of the excess tire wear can be avoided. Sports cars don't have deep tread depth. Deeper tread depth, more tire movement. More tire movement, less precise handling. And since the torque ratings on muscle and sports cars are similar, the engineering will be similar too. But EV tires need more engineering than sports car tires because efficiency is so important. You can't just make a huge contact patch and then expect it to be efficient. You just increased the amount of friction. And we'll never know what the compounds are or the curing time of the tire. That can make a difference. All that stuff is proprietary, and average Joe consumers like us will never know. And I don't want to get all sciencey on you here, but just because we lowered the tread depth doesn't mean there's less tire to wear. If you lower the tread depth and widen the tire, there's a good chance you'll end up with a comparable amount of material to actually wear off the tire. So if you were to catch the material as it fell off the tire, a wider tire with less tread depth might shed the same amount of material as a more narrow tire with more tread depth. So now that we know that a good EV tire will have less tread depth, different compounds, different curing times, different sipes, different contact patch, and a whole bunch of other factors to increase efficiency, reduce road noise, and control the amount of wear, as well as maintain performance, then how can we make them last longer? Well, you can't control road curves, road quality, temperature, weather, or the tire you've already chosen, let alone the vehicle that they're mounted to. So, driving style is all you've got? Well, there's one more thing, and that's maintenance. And let's call this maintenance preventative maintenance. Remember when I said
Torque has a quadratic impact on wear.
that means the imperfection of your alignment, if there is any, can have an extremely high impact because of the massive torque of your vehicle. So, how do you keep your alignment in spec? Don't hit potholes, don't drive fast, don't slam the brakes, don't set your regen to maximum. Basically, all the things you'd want to do if you wanted to have fun in your vehicle, except slamming the brakes and hitting potholes. And there are 2 additional preventative maintenance steps we need to take actively. I'll talk about those in a minute. Okay, all that was a lot, but I really just wanted to explain how and why EV tires wear out more quickly, because they don't always. Weight is one factor of many, and design changes have been made to address weight. But EVs have a complex combination of additional factors, like torque. Nothing affects wear like torque. Your EV has the torque of a sports car and a low center of gravity, allowing more opportunities to drive the car aggressively. Also, because of the weight and torque, every driving input has the potential to exponentially increase wear. On top of all that, additional steps need to be taken to reduce road noise with EV tires, meaning an increase in cost for specialized examples. And finally, every step a driver takes in reducing the application of torque drastically increases the tire life, while conversely, hard acceleration, being out of alignment, and any other factors that create uneven wear will exponentially reduce the life of the tire. Keeping your acceleration linear and gentle, maintaining a healthy following distance, the boring stuff that makes your EV get all the efficiency. Follow those guidelines, as well as check your UTQG, your temperature, your traction, whether or not there's EV technology in those tires, and get the ones that are on sale or the most affordable or make the most sense for you. And before we talk about my experience replacing tires, let's talk about the set of tires you get on a new EV. Your first set of tires will obviously not last very long because of trade-offs. They are designed to do everything except last. On an EV, that's super high efficiency, great handling, extreme ride comfort, low noise, with basically zero consideration for tread wear and life of the tire. The more you increase handling, the less time the tire is going to last. Same with efficiency. You select compounds that are designed to be the best for the range of the car. They lower rolling resistance, but they don't last as long. Don't believe me about your first set of tires? All you got to do is look at the warranty. This Pirelli warranty explicitly exempts the first set of tires you get on your vehicle from being covered under any warranty as far as mileage. And this causes a lot of misconceptions with people about EV tires. You've got a deadly combination here. It's your first EV and you want to test out how much fun and instant torque it has, and all this experimentation and fun is being had on a set of tires that is literally designed to wear as quickly as possible with the trade-off of excellent performance. And on top of the knowledge I already had, I've done a lot more research on tires for this video. Let's see if I'm ready to select a set. And I promised you a conclusion for getting new tires for my Model 3. After a long search, I landed on the Hankook Ion Evo AS. These are Grand Touring all-season tires. The rating is a 600 AA, but the price is pretty steep, and when I called my local shop, they quoted me $1,200 out the door. That's mounted, balanced, and disposal of my old tires. They do have a 55,000 mile warranty, which is fantastic, and of course they have that noise reduction technology. But I was worried about the warranty. Here's some of the terms from a Pirelli tire warranty I was looking at. This is the big one. You must have replacement tires rotated at least every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. 7,500 isn't going to cut it. And you have to make sure the tire rotation record is completed by the people that install your tire, which also means you can't rotate them yourself. And if the wear is uneven, they're not going to help you. There cannot be more than 2 30-seconds tread depth difference across the tire. So if you drove like a crazy man, you probably won't qualify for this warranty. But before I make my final decision, I need to look at the last set of tires I had, which was these. Hankook Ventus V2 Concept 2. So here they are. They had an eco-focus, but they weren't electric vehicle tuned, and I could get these for $735 for the set, but they totally destroyed themselves. And the biggest complaint from my wife was this. So we need to go and look and see if this is still going to be an issue on the Ion Evos. It's got a 7.3. And as much as I would love to just drop $1,200 on a set of tires, if one set of Hankooks is going to shred themselves in 7,500 miles, what would keep the next set from doing that? My local tire dealer came up with an alternative, and that's the Continental Extreme Contact DWS 06 They've got a 560 tread wear rating, traction AA, temperature A, and that's compared to that 600 AA from the Hankooks. These look like they've got a more diverse tread pattern, so they'll be better in different weather, and the guy that sold them to me drives a GTI, which means he probably knows his tires fairly well. These are $1,000 mounted and balanced, and there's a $110 rebate. So that's $310 in savings. The tread wear warranty is 50,000 miles, so that's comparable too. So am I willing to save $310 to try some tires that aren't made for EVs? Yes, I am. The tire shop was also nice enough to order both sets and have me come down and physically look at the difference between the two and make the decision. Obviously, we've got the foam in the middle of the Hankooks, but there's a Z rating on the Continentals. And these Continentals are considered one of the best ultra-high performance tires for wet weather. DWS means dry, wet, and snow. So it's kind of like they're made for everything. So now that I have my tires, we're all good to go, right? Absolutely not. This is where preventative maintenance begins. There are two things that need to be done absolutely all the time and very meticulously, and that's rotation and tire pressure. If you inflate your tires over what the manufacturer recommends, that's the door placard, not the tire itself. Look inside the door on your vehicle, unless it's a Mercedes, then it's in some weird place. But inside the driver's door, it should tell you what the cold tire pressures are. You need to make sure you keep with that meticulously to the number if possible. This is the reason why on every vehicle that allows it, which is 3 of my 4 vehicles, you can't put the tire pressure directly on the Tesla screen all the time, but on the Bolt and the Blazer and the Subaru, you can. The closer those are to the exact pressure they're needed, the more even the wear. Remember, we've got a larger contact patch and we have a whole bunch of torque, both of which can make wear harder to get even. If you pump it up too much, the middle will wear out. If you don't pump it up enough, you're going to get all kinds of uneven wear. And then rotations. Right on my receipt, when I bought my tires, it says the number of miles on the vehicle. So I'm going to rotate at like 6,500 miles. That way I'm within the threshold and I don't have anything on my side that's going to prevent me from getting that warranty if those tires wear out before the 50,000 mile warranty. Now, if they wear out before the warranty, does that mean I get a new free set? No, they're going to prorate the amount of the value of the tire based on the number of miles I got out of them. And if I buy another set, they're going to give me that set for that much off. So it'll be a percentage off the next set. That's how a mileage warranty works. There are other warranties within a tire for poor manufacturing and other things. But for the mileage warranty, you make sure they're rotated, you make sure the rotation is documented, and in the event they don't last what they're supposed to last, you can use the manufacturer warranty to get a prorated discount on your next set. So, how are these tires going to do? I don't know. I had 2 goals: get a set of tires that are going to last me a longer period than 7,500 miles, and get tires that run better in the snow and wet. Hopefully I've done both, but I'll keep you updated. Remember the muscle cars I mentioned at the beginning of the video? Your EV has every single piece of hardware necessary to perform like those muscle cars. And if you decide to make your EV perform like those muscle cars, your tire isn't going to last as long. This video is another in the series of EVs are better and I can prove it, which I've now created a playlist for. So far we have EV versus gas versus hybrid, why plug-in hybrids aren't relevant anymore, the EV quotient 500-mile road trip video, electric is cheaper than gas in every state, you're wrong about EV insurance and I can prove it, and now this one, EV tires aren't the problem. And a great companion video to this one is my throwback efficiency video on how to drive an EV most efficiently, because at the end of the day, that's how you get more life out of your EV tires. I've got one more planned, and if I missed anything, please let me know what videos I need to make about this topic, but it addresses the final nail in the coffin as far as tokens of misunderstanding. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And with all these numbers, ratings, and warranties, nothing is more confusing when it comes to maintenance than selecting a set of tires. So let's sum up what we've learned in this video to help you make a better decision on your next set of tires. EVs are performance vehicles that present a myriad of engineering challenges when it comes to performance and the life of a tire. Because EVs offer instant torque and higher torque ratings than gasoline-powered vehicles, in addition to more weight on average, driver input has the potential to exponentially increase tire wear. Additionally, the first set of tires on an EV is not designed to provide any kind of life. They are designed to feel great, ride great, and provide great efficiency while they last, leading many drivers to draw the conclusion that EVs shred tires regardless of circumstance. Also, based on your driving style, local weather, and budget, when you are selecting a set of tires, make sure to consider all the trade-offs that the set you select will offer before making a final decision. Finally, make sure to maintain the manufacturer's recommended tire pressures as much as possible, rotate your tires based on the requirements of the warranty, and check your alignment regularly to reduce uneven tire wear and get reimbursed on your next set of tires if they don't outlast the warranty. And I really hope this helps increase your understanding and make a better decision on your next tire selection. So that's everything I know about EV tires, what wears them out, what you can do, and what can't be prevented. So a little less fun may mean a little longer time on the current set. Let me know what I missed. Let me know your thoughts down below. Join Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access to videos and subscribe for more. We'll see ya on the next one.
Hey, smash the like button.
Thank you.